Now we're here. We have guests.
Welcome back.
It's your boys
Welcome back to the podcast.
to the podcast, to the lab.
Right, it's St. Patty's Day. St. Patrick, he apparently got the snakes out of Ireland or something. So now everybody in America gets drunk.
Awesome. What a tale. Is this true?
No, it is true.
Okay.
This is the plot of
Basically, summarized.
Okay, cool. That's something to be remembered for,
Okay, so welcome to Weed Connoisseurs. Where we discuss all things weed.
Mm-hmm.
Here with me it is from my left,
Calamity.
the Tamil legend,
That's me.
Calamity, the racially ambiguous.
We'll keep it ambiguous.
Yes.
For drama.
Alpha Rabbi, aka Father of Jesus,
Damn it,
aka Mr. Sexy. Yes, plenty of AKAs.
All right.
I'm not endorsing that, just by the way.
Okay.
It seems conceited. The title's been given to me. And I don't know if I accept it.
You don't want the title?
That's fine. You can give me you can bestow it upon me.
Do you want to be known as Mr. Sexy?
I don't know, dog. That's it's a lot of pressure.
He's at a point.
Okay, we will think about it.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, and today, it is Women's Month.
International Women's Month.
International Women's Month.
Congratulations. Well, how are you celebrating? As a woman.
As a woman, I am not a woman,
Oh, what?
but
Are you sure? I'm joking. No, we're not doing this. Let's not.
I am a
Let's
product.
not make light of Women's Month.
Yes.
It's a heavy topic. Women have been marginalized and shit throughout the years, and they do deserve a month. The month itself, we'll talk about that. What were you saying? Sorry, go ahead.
No, I am not a woman, but I am a product of a woman.
Aren't we all?
Yeah.
I don't know about y'all. I know about where I come from. You might come from a
Mother
lab,
Nature.
Do you come from a woman?
Of course.
Then say it loud and proud.
I love you, Mom.
Yes. We're all vagina
We
babies.
love you, Mom.
Yes.
All the moms out there,
All the moms out
even the crack smoking ones.
Whoa.
But we don't love that you smoke crack.
All right. We're gonna bring up two women of the many that inspire us.
Yes.
Oh.
And for me,
For you,
I can't just shout out one woman. There's a group of women called the Mother of Nature, a Sri Lankan group of widowed wives who spend their time planting trees on the land that their husbands fought for to protect nature,
That sounds beautiful.
which was something inspired by a Kenyan political activist, Wangari Maathai.
Matai.
Yes.
Wangari Matai, yes. She won a Nobel Peace Prize for her efforts saving the environment.
And she started that in Kenya.
Yes.
And it got to, the word got to Sri Lanka.
Yes.
Pretty good.
That's beautiful.
Amazing women. Yes. And for my woman, it's today I'm representing Sister Rosetta Thup. She was a lesbian gospel singer that she was very integral in the creation of rock and roll, which a lot of people don't know.
Wow.
Rock and roll comes from, a queer woman, a queer black woman, actually. So, that's who's with us in spirit today. Shout out. Do you have any women?
So, I did not know we were doing this, but I have been thinking of a few while you guys were talking. One of the women I admire a lot is the love of my life. She's sitting over there somewhere. And, she's a very inspiring woman to me. She's been through a lot, and she's a nurse, one of the most noble professions you can be, The other woman I was going to talk about was Frida Kahlo.
Ooh,
That bitch is crazy.
Whoa.
It's crazy. You just look into it. She was like a cool artist. She very influential at a time when women were kept out of the art industry as a whole. She kind of broke into it and broke down a lot of barriers. So that was cool. And also the woman who wrote the code, for the moon mission. You know, highly debated, highly controversial moon landing.
Yeah.
Whether or not it happened, who knows? But she did write the code by hand when you had to write shit by hand on stacks of paper. Like, that's fucking crazy.
There's a movie about this.
Shout out.
Shout out. Yes, and speaking of the legend Frida Kahlo, she was Mexican, which you have to say. Legend.
Oh yeah, of course. Like a woman of color doing all that in a white man's space.
And you know, and also she wasn't gonna be an artist, but she had an accident, and like in a bus, and something impaled her, so she couldn't stand. So she was always bedridden. So her dad got her like a canvas to look at her so she can paint.
Her whole shit is crazy, man.
I was like amazing woman, unstoppable. And yes. And so now, just we're here with Connoisseurs, and what we do here is we discuss marijuana. And we have a stance of decriminalization of marijuana around the world, and, you know, free everyone who is in jail for marijuana charges, free them on them, you know, because now the governments are getting paid from it. Yeah, and today we're discussing our favorite dispensaries. And, you know, so just, we're going to start with since legalization. Where have you got the best weed experience around the city? And we're going to start with Calamity on my left.
Hollandaise in Pickering. That's so far my favorite location to get marijuana. And it's because their service is friendly. They know what they're talking about. Fantastic service.
Yeah.
And then I would say, secondly, Spirit Leaf. They're almost an even game. It's a great service, again, friendly talks. Also, they give you, you know, goodies.
Yes. They give us shirts too. They're good people,
Yeah,
Spirit
they're really
Leaf.
good people. Getting good quality weed.
Which Spirit Leaf? Which location?
Location is Scarborough and Milner. That location is
Morningside and Milner.
Morningside and Milner. So if you need marijuana, you're in that area, give them a visit. And for me, it's also Hollandaise. Favorite. That's my favorite dispensary right now. The Pickering location, not just any location, specifically the Pickering location. They do have bartenders who know what they're speaking about, always have amazing recommendations, always keeping us updated, you know, what's new, what's fresh, what's going on in the weed industry. And also, my second will be Tokyo Smoke, the Young and Dandas, because I just walked above it when it was opening up. And they were it was getting crazy. They were giving out free stuff. You know, it was the first time I could go to a dispensary legally and buy weed. So I had a good experience there. Also, Friendly Strangers by Queen Street.
That was a nice spot.
That was a nice spot.
That's not a...
No, because remember, they opened one right beside
when
it.
it was in the gray market.
Yeah, when it was in the gray market. No, actually legal right now. They just want, because it's the same people, so it kind of felt like, you know, I know these guys. Yeah. It wasn't that bad. And
wait, do they have it still?
Yeah, there's one right there, yeah.
Okay.
On Queen Street. And what about you, Father of Jesus?
You know, I do like Hollandaise. That's a really nice spot. If anybody lives in like the East End, you should definitely go to Hollandaise. But in terms of the other dispensaries, Tokyo Smoke is cool. It's like an Apple Store version of a dispensary. They have a lot of cool shit, and the design is kind of nice, but it's also very bougie and overpriced. Honestly, no dispensary I've ever went to came close to Cafe 66. No.
Okay, we're going. Okay, well, we're gonna transition. Okay, to the back in the gray market.
Just a quick.
No, we're gonna go there.
Yeah.
Cause he's speaking facts right now, and we have to do this the right way. During the prohibition, there were people who were doing this against the government.
Yeah.
The real warriors.
And it was at a specific time. It was like, do you guys remember the year? Maybe like
2017 forward?
Yeah, like something happened where it was starting to be decriminalized in a lot of different places. We were talking about it in Ontario. And some people just decided that they're just going to open one up and deal with whatever legal consequences come out of it. And that's fucking crazy. You know, Cafe 66. Well, what do you want to talk about exactly?
Okay, so start with Cafe 66. So your experience going there, how?
So, you know, it's on Fort York Boulevard. If you guys don't know, it's like kind of near Rogers Center. and they had a cafe in front. They actually had good coffee, good cappuccinos, and baked goods, all legal and no weed in them. And they also had a dispensary upstairs and a place where you could smoke upstairs with bongs and dab rigs and shit. That didn't last very long.
No.
But that was honestly like the most beautiful dispensary experience I ever had. And they had good strains. And the strains were good prices. That dispensary, what do you call that? They had edibles. They had wax. They literally had everything you could possibly ask for. And the edibles had no legal limit, which might not be a good thing. But you could get 500 milligram chocolate bars, which you can't get anymore.
No, because that's not legal.
And they had a loyalty program where you bring back the bags they give you, and they give you weed. Like, it was just fucking beautiful.
It was a setup, yeah.
And so what happened eventually, obviously the government tries closing them down and shit. They were paying about... Sorry. Let me cut that. Let's not. Whatever. Who cares? They were paying like $10,000 a day to keep their business open, like in fines. And the government also put up concrete blocks, blocking them in. And they hired a excavator to just move that shit. So, Cafe 66, man. Shout out to Cafe 66.
Shout out Cafe 66. And I remember when they were shut down, you could also, they had benches in some areas where you could go, outside the cafe where you get a text. They tell you, wait up for 10 minutes. Someone is coming.
That shit was sketchy.
It was sketchy, but they didn't give up. They fought, and now they do have a legal dispensary right now.
Yeah.
Yes, and it's actually a cafe, and in the back, it's a dispensary.
And we literally owe them, like Toronto owes them credit for fighting for weed this whole time.
That's true. No one fought harder.
Legalized on October 17, 2018.
Okay, yes.
I see.
Yeah,
So a year after.
Year after. So, Calamity, do you have any...
Cannabis Culture was a cool place. That was my first dispensary
Oh,
ever.
yeah.
And then from there...
On Church Street.
Yeah, on Church Street. It was amazing. They sadly closed down, but it was great. Edibles. It was like a weed wonderland. You know? And then you walk in the back, there's also a place you can smoke, which is very fantastic.
Yeah. And had
Great
local
experience.
art, zines and stuff. You know, zines.
Yeah.
Cool.
Vapor Central.
Vapor Central was a place to smoke weed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was also... They were also another pioneer that was, because it was still illegal. Yeah. Vapor Central was another place.
It's a great hangout.
Great place. TVs, benches, looks like a church.
Okay, and we are back. Yes, we're discussing Vapor Central.
Was that all just not there?
Yeah.
Oh,
What?
We might use the audio, though.
okay.
Yes. So, yes, Vapor Central. Our audience said Vapor Central was an amazing spot during the Prohibition days, and I couldn't agree more. It is where most of us tried volcanoes. Mm-hmm. Most of us where you couldn't smoke at home. You went there, it was a chill out spot.
TVs, chairs, couches.
And it was by the subway station, which is underrated.
Very underrated. And next to all the great food.
McDonald's, Starbucks were there, and the THC stop was right there. Yeah, so if you needed papes or anything,
What a nice one. That was
it was a very nice spot.
And they knew what they were doing. They had
Stand up.
the volcanoes, right? But they also had industrial air purifiers, so it never smelled like shit. It was underrated, man.
Amazing.
That is true. Okay, for me, it was the Kana Clinic. I had legendary spots in Kana Clinic, specifically the one at Kensington and the one at Broadview. The one in Kensington was the first dispensary I went to. And, they make you sign all those papers.
It was like all bullshit.
Yeah, it was all bullshit papers. Be like, well, do you have a mental, it was just crazy. Yeah. Yeah. And me and my homie went, and they were playing Kendrick. So we were like, oh, this is already the spot. And then it was the first time I saw weed in jars, how you see rappers do it. And the best thing about back in the day, they would open it and they'll let you smell it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
They don't have that anymore.
They don't have that anymore. And
That used to be nice.
that used to be so nice. And the thing about the people who worked back then is that they really were into weed.
Yeah.
Because
Because they were risking,
Yeah.
like, legal shit just to, work in a weed store.
Just to work in a weed store. And so, like, they would just hype you up. Be like, yo, we got the Romulan today. Have you ever tried that Space Romulan? You're like, no. Give you the Romulan. Like, this is the Mike Tyson. You want to try this? And there was always this amazing smell, right? When you walk in,
Oh, yeah.
it's just like a weed atmosphere, aroma that just, oh my goodness, it was amazing. And they did have the Phoenix tears. First time I tried the Phoenix tears.
Yeah.
First time I tried the capsules. Those capsules messed me up.
That's the best so far we've had. What's like the worst dispensary? Not we don't need to name names, but what was like the worst setup of a dispensary you've ever seen?
There's a lot, but I forget those. You know, you go there, you ask someone. It happened to me recently. I won't name them out, but you go there, you ask someone for 5 weeds. Have you smoked any of these? They don't know. They don't know what a company is.
Name them.
Nah, you know, because I still kind of want free things. But
And you know, you don't want to put people down. They can always get better.
Well, I think I've never been to a dispensary that was bad. It was always like the bud tenders. You can just tell like from the hiring process or whatever that they're hiring people who don't really know what they're doing, or they're like not interested or whatever. But in terms of the dispensaries themselves, like all these places all get like pretty much the same stuff. So unless you know what you're looking for, you kind of have to just, you know, go there and hope that the bud tender can help you out. And if they can't, then, you know.
And those are the people we love and appreciate, the people who know what they're doing, the people who have spent time and, you know, life experience with marijuana and weed. And Hollandaise. And which one? Also Value Bud. Value Bud is a really good dispensary, like literally no nonsense. It's just literally what your money's worth. You
If
know?
you know about weed, Value Bud.
You know about weed, just Value Bud.
Yeah.
It's cheap, it's affordable. There's nothing fancy. They just have a board with all the weeds and the prices. So you can hit them up too.
There was a dispensary I went to one time. It was the size of a closet. It was just a window, and there was 2 buds on the window. They're attached to like a chain.
So I meant 2 buds.
No, like just
Two
like
threads.
2 little canisters of bud, like weed in it, and it's chained to like this block, and you have to just smell it and then just tell the bud tender at the window what you want.
That's fucking
It was
insane.
it was so crazy and creepy, but they did the job. They only offered 2 types of weed.
I tried to buy weed once, and the guy it was on Weed Maps, and it was like a I don't think it was legit. You know, I'll be honest. Should I say that?
No.
We admitted it.
Prohibition
We're talking
days.
about Penna Clinic and stuff.
Oh, that's the back in the days before legalization.
Yeah. And I messaged him. I e-transferred him some money, and then he's like, "All right, come to this parking lot." And there was just a guy in his car, who gave me some weed, and it was on Weed Maps though, and he had a business name, he had a logo, and everything.
Yo, shout out Weed Maps.
Shout out Weed Maps.
Shout out Weed Maps. Yo,
It
back in
did
the
come in
day,
clutch,
came in
yeah.
so clutch.
Now it's on Google Maps.
Now it's
which
on
is
Google
crazy.
Maps. So you just set hope for the best. And you remember when they were doing ads and you're like, you're gonna get caught.
Yeah.
Oh man, they were doing
Wonder
ads
Maps.
before. Yo, I love that, man.
Yeah,
I love that so much.
like you're blowing up the spot.
Oh God.
I rate that. You know, the weed people had the audacity to be doing this shit. You know,
Right.
That is true. And one dispensary we need to shout out, Good Cookie.
Good.
You know, Good Cookie. We might say a lot about them. You know, they don't have the best of weeds, but they did open up when we needed them.
They do. They're always in places that you need
Yes.
weed. Yeah. They found the places people always go like, oh, where's weed?
Especially during COVID. Man, it was tough times. And they opened just right beside my house.
We shouldn't disclose that.
You know, that's
But yeah,
true.
yeah, and there are many locations.
There's many locations. And, you know, they do have tribal at cheap prices. They might have tribal in the best prices in my area.
Mm-hmm.
Which is really
That's true. You know, any dispensary is a good dispensary, and you can also always price match. No one ever talks about that. But that's-
match?
yeah, mostly every dispensary offers price matching.
just like Walmart.
That's crazy. Don't blow up the spot though.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Don't
don't
blow up
be-
the spot. But
yeah.
I'm going to say not all dispensaries are good dispensaries.
Yeah.
It's just some dispensaries. So even
better
bad
service.
dispensaries have good weed.
I think right now the industry is way too regulated and like stifled for there to even be that much of a difference, you know? Like Hollandaise is really good, right?
Yeah.
But all dispensaries can be that good if they just
Got the right stuff.
did knew what they were doing, right?
That's true.
But you need the personnel though, and you can't get that personnel. There's only a few of those, and that's the thing. People say like maybe we need more regulations. Maybe we need
No, I don't think so, man.
not in that way, but regulation like be into weed. You know, go to school for this.
Oh,
At
yeah,
least
yeah,
know
yeah.
this stuff. Just don't
I
be
think
like
it's
I'm
actually
sell this.
still too regulated and too controlled as to where like you still see all these farms who are they're not even selling to dispensaries because their requirements are like too weird, you know? Like what's that Cookies Grower? They make like some of the best weed ever and they don't sell to any dispensaries. You have to get it like basically from the gray market, and it sucks.
Where we do not buy anything on the gray
Nobody
market.
buys. I've never, I've only heard of it
OCS is where we get our weed.
Yes.
Okay.
with a signature.
Yes.
Yes. No more than 2 ounces too.
Yeah, no more than 2 ounces on